Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle ramping up their calls for the Biden administration to provide more military support for Ukraine. Yesterday, a bipartisan group of senators sent a letter to the White House requesting specifics about both the lethal and non-lethal aid being supplied to Ukraine. It's a follow-up to questions raised during a congressional delegation visit to Germany and Poland earlier this month. That letter also noting that success cannot be a Russia-occupied Ukraine. It must be a free, independent, and sovereign Ukraine. Joining me now to discuss, Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada, one of the senators who signed that letter. She also serves on the Senate's Armed Services and Homeland Security Committee. Senator, good to have you with us this morning. Have you had any response so far to that letter, that request for more information?
Well, good morning, Erica. Thanks for having me. We just sent the letter. We haven't received a response yet, but what we're hoping to find out is that $14 billion in aid that we voted in just a few weeks ago, we want to find out how much has been spent down, how it's getting there, how quickly it's getting there. Because when we were on our bipartisan CODEL, the one thing that the Ukrainian people that we met asked us is for as much help as we can give them as quickly as we can. Every moment that we waste having a discussion, more lives are lost by Vladimir Putin's brutality. We don't have time to waste. So we're just trying to find out how quickly, how much, and what else do they need. We have to stop this war, give them the tools they need to win.
President Zelensky reiterating some of his asks this morning to Norway's parliament. There's a lot of skepticism, which we've been talking about throughout the morning, about these claims from Russia to be scaling back. I put that in quotes there, based on what is actually happening on the ground. As I understand it, there is going to be a briefing this afternoon for senators. You serve on the Armed Services Committee. How do you read both the movements that are being seen and the language that we're hearing? Because the two don't necessarily meet up.
Well, like I said, actions speak louder than words. So Vladimir Putin is saying one thing, what's he actually doing? So when we have our briefing this afternoon, first of all, I hope that we hear a little response to the letter that we sent, how much aid is going, military aid, humanitarian aid, how quickly it's getting there, how we're doing that, and then what we see in a classified setting for Vladimir Putin, the movement of his troops, because I don't believe that we can believe what he says. We have to watch what he's doing. Is he regrouping? He's clearly still shelling Ukraine, sending those shells over from Russia. So we have to watch him, see what he's doing, and be prepared to help Ukrainian people win this war.
You're also concerned about the potential not just the potential, but the cybersecurity threat. Your bipartisan Healthcare Cybersecurity Act is aiming to beef up cybersecurity. President Biden has warned companies to be extra vigilant, as we know. But looking at this specifically, the Wall Street Journal reporting Russian-affiliated cyber criminals are expressing some excitement about plans to attack and disable hundreds of U.S. hospitals. When it comes to the infrastructure that's in place and the preparations that are there, you're the first and only computer programmer, as I understand it, elected to the U.S. Senate. What specifically keeps you up at night in terms of these vulnerabilities?
Well, that's a great question, and thank you for asking that. We did have a classified briefing yesterday through Homeland Security talking about this very issue as it relates to critical infrastructure. And of course, Senator Cassidy and I, he's a physician, I'm a former computer programmer, we were really concerned about our healthcare sector. So this letter will ask Department of Homeland Security to pair with Health and Human Services to be sure that we shore up our critical health infrastructure. We know that Vladimir Putin has the capabilities.
But can that be done in time? I mean, we're talking about shoring it up now. This is a threat that has existed prior to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as we know. So how concerned are you that this may be too little too late?
Well, I don't think it's too little too late. I think we just have to heighten our awareness, because we've been doing these things through DHS, through CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. They have a Shields Up program. They've already been working with critical infrastructure. We've seen our hospitals already be attacked by ransomware. Our hospitals, our healthcare centers, they're no stranger to this. They've been working with our agencies already. This is just going to give them increased, heightened awareness. We're going to be sure that they have every threat interceptor that they need, that we're putting everything on the radar so we can deter any potential attacks, and we can be assured that we can recover from them. So we're just doing a little bit extra protection. It's been going on a long time, since the Colonial Pipeline, since the Log4j. We've seen as solar winds. These things have been ongoing. We just need to really ramp them up.
Senator Jackie Rosen, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.